After watching the fifth episode, I can't stop thinking about one small but extremely significant detail in the overall plot of Digital Circus. It is believed that Caine cannot control or influence the minds of the players, but in the fifth episode we see several refutations of this. In addition, I found an important detail that suggests that Caine is deceiving the main characters. Combined with his mistakes and hot temper, he is becoming a real threat. In this video, I will tell you all about the secrets of Caine and Bubble. From the pilot, we knew that Caine is essentially the god of the Digital Circus. He is capable of completely controlling other NPCs, and even the surrounding reality. He can create, change, and destroy them. In addition, he is capable of appearing anywhere and moving anyone anywhere. However, we believed that his abilities had limitations. First, he cannot create a way out of the Digital Circus or help the heroes escape. Second, Caine cannot change the minds of the main characters. At least, that's what we thought until the release of the fifth episode. In the new episode, the strangeness began with the first adventure, Poacher's Paradise. Before that, we saw how the main characters received new clothes for tasks within the adventure. In the fourth episode, the characters wore Spudsy's uniforms. In addition, Zooble can change parts of her body by picking up new parts from her box, but this is exclusively her feature. We can also note the influence of Gangle's masks on her mood, but their nature is not entirely clear to us at this point. However, it is quite possible that the effect of the masks on Gangle is also an example of Caine's ability to influence the minds of players. In the adventure Poacher's Paradise, we saw that Caine is capable of significantly changing the bodies of the main characters. Gangle became a rhinoceros, and Zooble became a heron. They are certainly not the only characters whose bodies have undergone changes. On Twitter, Gooseworks wrote that it would like to make more alternative versions of the main characters in the form of animals, but the budget for creating assets was limited. Then something even stranger happened. We got acquainted with the voting mechanics in Digital Circus. In theory, with the help of voting, the main characters can make Caine do anything. He does not argue with the characters' decisions, but that's not the point. By voting, the main characters were able to skip the adventure and make Jax a vegan. As a result, Caine did something to Jax's mind. It didn't make him a staunch vegan, but Jax was forced to give up all meat products for the rest of the adventure. We were able to see this in action in the bar location. Jax refused the protein in his cocktail. At the same time, he didn't change his way of thinking. He was upset and frustrated that he couldn't do anything about it. At that moment, Jax himself noted this oddity. From the information known to us and the main characters, Caine should not be able to control minds. However, we have received many hints that he can do it after all. Remember the silly sauce that changed Ragatha's behavior? Where do we, the viewers, and the main characters know that Caine cannot control the minds of the players? We come to the only conclusion. Caine himself says so. But can we trust Caine? I have an answer to that question too. Quite a while ago, a few days before the release of the second episode, at this point we can say for sure that Caine lied about not being able to control the minds of the players. In the fifth episode, another interesting situation occurred, hinting at Caine's influence on the minds of the players, or more precisely, on their perception of the world. In the stargazing adventure, Jax said in a dialogue with Pomni that he had a tail. Pomni immediately replied that he did not have a tail and that she had never seen him have one. Jax immediately panicked and started checking, but he couldn't find his tail either. If you look at what Jax looked like in each of the episodes that have been released, you won't find his tail either. I am convinced that this moment is also present in the episode for a reason. Most likely, Jax really did have a tail at one time, as rabbits have tails in nature, so it makes sense. Plus, I don't see any reason for Jax to lie or make things up. In the fifth episode, we found out earlier that Caine can change the bodies of the main characters at his discretion. This leads us to believe that at some point, Caine changed Jax's body and took away his tail. This fact is actually more disturbing than it might seem at first glance. I don't see any motivation for Caine to deliberately take away Jax's tail. Most likely, Caine did it by mistake. We have seen several times how errors in Caine's program lead to serious glitches in the Digital Circus, which can be dangerous for the characters. The second option is that Caine did it out of spite. That is, he punished Jax for something. In recent episodes, we see that Caine is becoming more impulsive, quick-tempered, and indifferent to the feelings of the players. He threatened Zooble with tearing her apart, and also started the adventures of the fifth episode immediately after the characters returned from the previous one, breaking his own rules. Regardless of the reason for this decision, it shows that he is becoming a threat to the main characters.
Oh, Zooble, you mismatched cash piano, I'll tear you to pieces! Constructive criticism would be greatly appreciated.
I want to remind you of an extremely curious fact that, in a sense, gives us an understanding of Caine's role in the global plot. The Amazing Digital Circus is an adaptation of Harlan Ellison's book, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. To briefly summarize the plot of the book, a team of people finds themselves in cyberspace, which is controlled by a mad AI named AM. He hates humans, so he constantly mocks and tortures his captives, devising increasingly sophisticated methods. In the book, AM can control not only everything that happens around people, but even inside people themselves. He made them forget their names and use strange nicknames that he came up with instead. He changed people's bodies and kept them captive for many years, preventing them from dying of old age or committing suicide. AM was able to control people's minds. He could impose certain thoughts on them, drive them crazy, and change their psychological and physiological characteristics at will. If you look closely, it's very similar to what Caine does. If you compare the characters from Digital Circus and this book, you can easily find many similarities and coincidences. As you may have guessed, Caine is based on AM. This fact confirms once again that Caine is capable of controlling the minds of players and influencing them, and that he cannot be trusted. This made me wonder, what else could Caine have lied about to the main characters? Let's start with the obvious lies and move on to the less obvious deception. First, Caine is sure that all players like his adventures, and he states this directly.
Well, I hope we all learned that suggestion box ideas are actually not fun at all, and Caine's ideas are much better.
However, he realizes that this is not true and tries to make his adventures better, but it doesn't work out well. As a result, he gets angry at the main characters and starts to glitch. He devoted the entire 5th episode to proving to the heroes that his adventures are better than theirs. In the 2nd episode, Caine said that he couldn't allow NPCs to be in the circus tent because then he might confuse who was a player and who wasn't. And that could lead to dire consequences. What if that's a lie too? The adventure in the pilot took place inside the circus tent. There were NPCs there, and nothing terrible happened. That's definitely not the real reason for the NPC ban. In the 5th episode, we heard what sounds more like a real problem. Zooble suggested that Caine launch multiple adventures at once, leave the portals open, and let the players choose. Caine turned to Bubble and said that in that case, it would be necessary to leave intelligent NPCs active for a long period of time. Bubble replied that this was a terrible idea. Why are Caine and Bubble afraid of intelligent NPCs? I think it's because intelligent NPCs, such as Gummy Goo, could side with the players.
So this is the circus, huh? I gotta get used to this.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
And even start to oppose Caine. Perhaps they could help the players refute Caine's lies and, for example, find a real way out of the digital circus. I suspect that Caine's main lie is that there is no way out of the digital circus. In fact, there is a way out, but Caine does not allow them to use it. I think it's because of his program. He is supposed to entertain the players, but there are many errors in his programs. Because of this, he believes that he should not allow players to leave the digital circus. What do you think about this? Can Caine really control people's minds? What is Caine deceiving the main characters about? Write your thoughts and theories in the comments, and I will definitely read them. The best comments will be featured in new videos. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Good luck, everyone, and see you soon.